Okay, lesson 8.3, day 2. Again, we're going to be working with special right triangles today. We're going to be using the properties of 45, 45, 90. And the 30, 60, 90 triangles. Remember the 45, 45, 90? This is the formula that we use to figure out the sides of a 45, 45, 90. So if we look at our examples here, we have 14 on the leg and we have x on the hypotenuse. Well, 14 is on the leg, which means that the hypotenuse is times radical 2. So our answer is 14, radical 2. This is a 14. There we go. All right, so now if we look at the second triangle, we've got x on the leg, and the hypotenuse is 45. So what we have to do then is we have to divide by radical 2. So 45 divided by radical 2. That means we have to do this funny looking 1. So we get 45 radical 2 over 2. Again, here we've got the hypotenuse is x and the leg is 22. So then that's the easy one. It's 22 radical 2. Nice for a little warm up. Okay, so now we have this square garden, and all the sides of the square garden are 100 feet. And we want to build a brick path that goes on the diagonal. So I want a brick path here. Well, what that does is it gives me this triangle right here. Oops, I don't want to move that. I want to move this. Okay. So I've got that triangle. Got a right triangle here. I know that because it's a square, we cut it in half. That means that this is 45. So if we have a 45, 45 triangle, then the x, the hypotenuse, that's going to be the path. That is going to be 100 times radical 2. So our x is going to be 100 radical 2. Now we've got a 45, 45, 90 triangle with a hypotenuse the length of 26. Well, we know that if the hypotenuse is 26, then we're going to have to divide by radical 2. So 26 divided by radical 2. We have to multiply by radical 2 over radical 2 because we can't have a radical in the denominator. So that equals 26 radical 2 over 2. But this can be reduced. 26 divided by 2 is 13. So our final answer is 13 radical 2. All right, so now the 30, 60, 90 is a little bit more complicated. The hypotenuse is the same as 2 times the shorter leg. Here's the shorter leg. And the long leg is radical 3 times the short leg. So in order to really work with a 30, 60, 90, we have to have the short leg. So, okay, we happen to have the short leg on this one. Take a look. We've got 9 on the short leg. So x is going to be the short leg times 2. So 9 times 2. That equals 18. So x is equal to 18. Y is going to be the short leg times radical 3. So the short leg times radical 3 9 radical 3. All right. On the next one, we have x on the long leg, and we have y on the short leg. Well, we have to do the short leg first. So we are going to divide the hypotenuse by 2 to get y. So the hypotenuse is 4 radical 3 divided by 2 equals y. Simplify this, we get 2 radical 3. This is the short leg. So now in order to figure out the long leg, we have to multiply the short leg by radical 3. So x equals the short leg times radical 3. So if we do that together, we've got 3 times 3, which is a pair, so we're going to bring it out. 2 times 3, x is 6. Now we've got an equilateral triangle with an altitude the length of 27 feet. Well, if I draw an equilateral triangle, and I call the altitude is 27. That makes this a 30, 60, 90. Because in an equilateral triangle, all of these angles are 60. So this is 30, and this is 60. So it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle, and we have the altitude. Well, if I take that triangle out, this triangle right here, and put it on the side, maybe it's easier to look at, we've got 27 on the long leg. So now I have to figure out what the short leg is. So the short leg of a 30, 60, 90, excuse me, I need to divide by radical 3. So in order to figure out the short leg here, I need to divide the long leg by radical 3. So I'm going to say 27 divided by radical 3. Multiply by the funny looking 1. So I end up with 27 radical 3 over 3. But this can be reduced, so that equals 9 radical 3. So that's our short leg. So I'm going to put that up in the picture. 9 radical 3. Now I know that the hypotenuse is going to be 2 times the short leg. So that's 2 times 9 radical 3. So 2 times 9 radical 3 is going to be the hypotenuse. Let's call that y. That is going to be 18 radical 3. And that's going to be the length of this side here. Finally, we've got this kite. And remember, when we have kites, we have 90-degree angles. And 90-degree angles all around in here. So if you look at this particular kite, we have a triangle here. And we have a triangle here. So the first one, x, well, that's a 45, 45, 90 triangle, so that means that we need to figure out the legs. And we don't have the legs right now. Well, let's work with the red one then and figure out what y is. So if I'm going to look at the red triangle, I'm going to draw it up here. I'm taking it out of the kite and making it so I can look at it more clearly. It looks like 15 is the hypotenuse, and we want to figure out y, but we also have to figure out x, because if we figure out x, that's going to give us the length of this part of the diagonal, which is congruent to this one over here. Okay, so that's the plan. So first we're going to do this x here because we need the short leg in order to get y. So the short leg is half of the hypotenuse, 15 divided by 2. So x equals 15 divided by 2, which means that x is 7.5. Okay, so we got 7.5 here. So I know that 7.5 is here as well. So now, let's figure out what y is. So y on this triangle is the short leg times radical 3. So the short leg times radical 3 is going to be, the short leg of this one is 7.5 times radical 3. So that's what y is. Alrighty. Well, now we can go to the green triangle, this one right here, and we can figure out what x is, this x, by using the 45-45-90 property, which is that the leg times radical 2. So if the leg is 7.5, then x is going to be, this x is going to be 7.5 radical 2. That's that. So tomorrow, be ready with any questions and be ready to do more practice, and we will see you then. Have a great night.